All right. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Uh, let's turn on screen sharing. Oh, I made a mess in the kitchen. Everything. I cleaned the kitchen, but apparently not good enough. Discord and share. All right, let me just send some emojis. Oh, I didn't bring my shock collar. Wait, I have to go get my shock collar. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, actually, I did bring it. It's okay. It's next to me. I have to wait for my owner to ask me to turn it on because it always disconnects from her phone. I don't know why. I tested it on my phone and it seems okay, but on her phone it always disconnects. All right, let's see that we have good audio. 1 second. So, view on YouTube. Yeah, it sounds okay. All right, so what do we got? Let's go to. Oh, there's no one watching? That's terrible. Anyway, so this guy every morning sends us a message. I don't know what it's about. Um, let's start looking for. Oh, someone has joined us. J-Rock. Wait a minute. J-Rock, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you have
Ready?
a. Is that a tattoo on your neck?
Yeah.
Wow.
All
Wait,
right.
what
So,
does it?
anyways, I gotta open it up real quick, and bam, we is live. We is live. I'm your host J Rock, aka Skinny Juan, and as always on the Mr. Slave Show, you never know what the topic's gonna be about until the debater chooses the topic. And with that being said, I'll switch the mic over to your main host. Take it away, Mr. Slave.
Thank you, J-Rock. Wait, let me see the tat on your neck. Okay, you know what? I don't want to interrupt your exercise. You continue. When you have a minute, then it looks very
Okay.
interesting. It looks very intricate. It's like probably very expensive. What is it, like $1,000, something like that?
No, it was kind of cheap. I got the hookup from a it was from a coworker's cousin, so I got a good price on it.
Oh, wait, I have a message from my Thai girlfriend. She's asking if I'm ever gonna come to visit her. Oh my God. I really have to go visit her. I really want to. Oh my God, she's really upset. I want to know, can we meet? Oh my God. I don't know what to do about it. She
You got
needs
the
to
money.
know. What?
You said so you got the money to fly her out here.
It wouldn't be just her, it would be her daughter too. She has like a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old little girl, and I'm kind of attached to the little girl because we talk like a lot. We like talk. We She doesn't speak English, but we laugh around. Yeah, it's complicated.
None of them speak English.
The mom speaks English. The little girl doesn't speak English. Hold on, we
Okay.
have messages. Woody Johnson is good morning. We eat live. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, let's go see if we can find debates. She's right now in Thailand. It's 11 p.m. and she usually is sleeping right now. So
In
that
Thailand?
me, yeah, like 2 hours ago we were talking and she went to sleep. I guess she can't sleep because it's bothering her that I'm not showing any signs of coming over. I don't. Maybe I need to detach from her. I don't know. Probably. I mean, she is beautiful. She is incredible, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Anyway, let's forget about that for now. I have no choice. Let's see this server. There's no one on this server. On the level. Let's give them another chance. Otherwise, we have to forget about them.
Yeah,
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
Are you?
Good morning.
So
Oh dear. Go on. Yeah, go on. We were into something, but good morning. Are you recording?
Yes, always. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to debate?
Just to let everybody else know that's in the room with us.
Oh, sure. Does anybody want to debate?
You can't debate. I think we've already sorted that out.
No, that's not true. Why do you keep saying that? Every day we
Because
discuss. Go on.
You don't have any rules.
That's not true.
Well, you want to debate the rules.
Not necessarily. That's one of the options. But we can
debating the rules for debate.
Yes, that's one.
Okay, so let's say we don't want to debate the rules of debate. What are the rules of debate that we're going to be using to debate?
The normal accepted rules. You wanna discuss the rules? We can discuss the rules, but it's don't commit in general. Don't commit logical fallacies. That's maybe the only rule. I don't know if there's any other rules. Like use logic, present your evidence. Normal. I never said that I have anything against the rules of debate. I'm just saying the rules of debate are just rules like rules of any other game. It's just a game. It's nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm. See, that's where I think we go off.
It doesn't matter. We can debate.
Logic isn't a game.
That's fine. We've debated it. I think we've squeezed that lemon to its death. So we've beat that horse to its complete demise. I mean, you want to discuss it again and again and again.
Well, no. If we debated it and we've done it to its demise, I take it that I absolutely wrecked you with it then. Because now you're saying that they're the rules that we're going to be using for debate.
No, I mean, you didn't wreck me. I explained.
But we are using the logic rules for debating.
Yes, but
so that means that you didn't really do very well when you debated that logic wasn't a thing.
No, that's
because that's what we're actually using, Charlie.
That's orthogonal. That has nothing to do one with the other.
Orthogonal? What does that even mean?
Nothing to do with it. In 90 degrees.
Definitely means nothing to do with this.
Anyway, so we can debate according to whatever rules of debate you want, including the generally accepted rules of debate. One of the topics we can debate, that we have debated, is the rules of debate. What is the foundation of the rules of debate? What is the foundation of logic, of math? We've discussed that. We don't have
so the rules of debate is then to catch the other person in a contradiction, right? As in a normal debate scenario, to show that your arguments that you're presenting are fallacious.
I don't think. I mean, I think the purpose of a debate should be to convince your debate partner in whatever you believe, or maybe that should be the purpose.
I don't think that's a debate to convince somebody of something.
So what's
unless
the purpose?
You want to present a proof, an argument, right? For a rebuttal.
What do
surely.
you think is the purpose of a debate?
To catch your opponent in a fallacious argument.
Let's say you catch your opponent in a fallacious argument, then your opponent can retract that argument, but that still doesn't dispute.
Means that the argument has been lost, then,
But that's
surely. If you just retract the argument that you enter into a debate with,
wait. Are you
then
saying
you've surely lost the debate, haven't you?
wait? I mean, you can present multiple arguments to support your proposition. So you can a debate partner can always say, "Oh, fine, I see the contradiction in this argument, but there's other arguments." So that's not how you win. That's just you. That's I would say that's a good progress if you can convince your partner that one of his arguments has an issue and maybe you both agree to retract, that the partner will retract that, or maybe retract and fix and change and modify and improve. Oh, I have to fix the kitchen. 1 second. Yes, go ahead.
Get the dishes done. Come on.
I did it. I did everything.
The floor, mopping the floor.
I didn't mop the floor last night. Let me just get permission after I stream.
Okay. So, as far as the arguments go in debate, do you accept a deductive argument form?
What does that mean?
What?
But what do you mean by that? We've never used
deductive argument.
Deductive meaning
as opposed to inductive, yeah.
I'd rather stay away from inductive. Inductive is
jolly good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not very clear, is it?
Yeah. So just for anyone listening, so inductive means that if you witness many ducks to be all black, then you assume that all ducks are black. Just because statistically you notice that every duck is black, you just assume all ducks are black.
That's weighted on the strength of the argument, right?
Wait.
The word form, the word usage is, let me see if I can help you out.
Wait, inductive just means that you use statistics. It's empiric. Inductive means empiric. You observe reality, and based on that, you predict reality. That's inductive, which is not very strong. It's it has its issues, obviously. The fact that you always dropped a hammer and it always fell to the floor is not a predictor that it will happen the next time. It's inductive.
If you drop a hammer, it might not hit the floor?
Right. You never know. Right. The fact that you always
might just sort of levitate at some point.
It might blow up. It might turn into a princess. It might. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen. Maybe the universe will end before it hits the floor. Who knows? You never know. The fact that you've always tried it and it always, in your experience, it always appeared to have certain consequences is completely unpredictive of the future, unless we assume inductive reasoning. When we assume inductive reasoning, then we say, yeah, let's just assume that it is the future. We can just assume it. And that is how I would say that's how all creatures in the universe behave. So creatures that learn from previous experience, they use their previous experience to predict the future. But that's inductive. It's not necessarily true. It's completely unnecessarily true. But you can assume and
weak,
excuse me,
and strong, right? You can strengthen an inductive argument through the correct grammar.
What do you mean, grammar?
Yeah, I've put an example in the live chat.
Mm-hmm.
Premise, right? All tigers on my safari trip to South Africa
Where-
were orange
Where is it?
in the live chat.
Oh, the live chat. Okay.
Mhm.
Hold on. I need to scroll all the way down.
You get your
Yeah.
people up to speed, right?
Yeah. So premise. All the
All the
tigers I
tigers.
saw on my safari trip to South Africa were orange. Conclusion, therefore, all tigers are orange. It is possible to strengthen the inductive argument and its conclusion premise. All tigers I saw on my safari trip to South Africa were orange. Conclusion, hence, most tigers are probably orange.
There you go.
The,
So
it's not.
the first one is classed as a weak inductive argument, and the second one is classed as a strengthened. You've strengthened the argument by the correct use of the words,
You actually
adding in most and probably.
Right. You actually weakened your argument and you made it more correct by weakening it. Because the first
It's classed
prediction.
as being stronger.
Oh, it's fine. You can classify.
Possible to strengthen the argument and its conclusion.
Right. Anyway, so we can use inductive reasoning. I'd rather not, but we can. We might have to. I don't know, because it might be that there is no other type of reasoning. So inductive.
Well, do you not like deductive? Like, that's why we were talking at the beginning.
So
You
what
said you
is-
don't really like that.
You
Because
cannot. So because there's no, you can never really make a deductive argument, because you can never make
but
a
you
non.
can't make a deductive argument, did you
Right.
say?
Because you can never really make a logical claim. But we've been through this. So, right, so the sky is blue is not a logical claim, it's an empirical claim. 1 + 1 = 2 is not a logical claim, it's an experiential, empirical claim. That you've noticed that every time you add 1 and 1, you get 2. That's just what you notice in your experience. So so all claims at the end of the day are empirical. All claims come from your experience. You can never make a claim that is not from your experience, as far as I know. But it's fine. I mean, we can reclassify things as however you want. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just reclassification, just for convenience, so that we can.
No, I don't think we don't need to reclassify inductive and deductive arguments, because they're already very well classified.
No,
on
I'm
their own
saying
already.
right. I'm just saying the sky is blue. You could claim, I would claim, is an empirical claim. And if it's empirical, then anything that comes out of an empirical claim is inductive. The sky is blue, even that is an inductive statement. There is an implicit induction in it, right? I noticed a sky. That's like what you notice the tigers. You notice the tigers, and from that you induce a statement about tigers. I noticed the sky, and from that, you could even say I noticed the sky is blue,
Well,
and from that I'm inducing the sky is blue. That's an inductive statement. It's an inductive. I'm using.
you're doing that personally, though, aren't you? Right?
Sure.
You're the one that's making that statement.
Right. I make every statement. This universe is between my ears. So everything is subjective. I mean, but fine. Let's take any topic. Last time we started discussing violence and morality. So we were able to have a discussion, but you didn't like my evidence, but you didn't make any.
What you were going. So do you think you could make an argument for the possible benefits of violence then? Amoral violence is, could you make a positive argument?
I mean, I can make a positive argument for violence, but it's not. It would never be. I cannot make it as strong as nonviolence. I mean, violence is
Go on
last.
then, give us
Violent.
give us your best
Vi-
argument.
you use violence as last resort because you failed to use nonviolence as the first resort. So it's your fault that this is ending up now that you need to use violence. You really didn't need to use violence. But all right, so sometimes
It's
here's an
not. You're
example.
right. That isn't a very strong argument.
No, here. So yeah, you could use violence like if you right now at home and you have a home invader and it's do or die. You need to save your life. So you have to maybe you have no choice. You have to.
I know. You delete the footage
No, you just have to.
after picking the guy up by his throat, taking him outside, slamming him on the ground, doing a bit of MMA fighting, top position, until your missus pulls you off. Then you delete the footage.
No. You always need to take into account that you don't want to hurt your opponent, even in a home invasion. You'd rather not hurt them. But sometimes you have to hurt them. Sometimes you have no choice. They're coming at you, and you have no choice.
Yeah, sometimes you're forced into picking them up by the throat,
I'm not saying.
aren't you?
I'm not saying no one picks anybody up by their throat. That's no one can do that. Not even with a little, maybe with a little child, if you're really strong. But in general,
Yeah, if you're a specimen, if you've worked like you've done military training, if you're a black belt.
anyway, no one is picking. You have
Big
sometimes
guy,
you
right?
have to use
Big
violence. Yeah, I agree that sometimes you have to use violence. Yes, as last resort. But as a society, it could be avoided.
Should it be praised?
Should what be praised?
Violence, assault.
Of course not. What do you mean should? By whom?
By anyone, really. By the, let's say somebody committed an assault, right?
I
And
mean,
then they went on YouTube,
but-
right, to
but
do
you had.
like to let people know about it, and then
sometimes-
earned money through super chats.
But
about
sometimes you have to, right? Let's say you have a terrible government, a dictatorship. So you need to organize a revolution against them. So you would be the aggressor. You would pick a fight. You would say everything looks peaceful. Yeah, the government could be a dictatorship that's holding down the population, and you would organize a revolution, and you would start going and maybe using even terroristic tactics against civilian politicians, because so it might be praiseworthy. Probably is in that situation. It would be.
What about if like you thought that they'd robbed your missus's bike after you'd sort of lent it to him?
In general, it's not a good idea to use violence in such a scenario. I mean, it depends on the scenario. So
I say like what about, right, if your next door neighbor or something, right, asks, "Can I borrow a bike? I've got to go," and you go like, "Yeah, I can't ride a bike, but you can take my missus's bike." And then what about later on, right? If you decided that guy had stolen your bike or your missus's bike,
Dolan?
would then it be yeah. After you lent it to them, like, can you imagine that they've stolen it after you lent it to them?
Could you imagine? Wait, repeat, please. I'm sorry. I'm getting a distraction.
Could you imagine that somebody had stolen something that you'd actually lent them?
Let me ask you. are we debating the topic from last time? The violence.
Yeah, similar. Like, is violence? I can't remember what it was.
Is
What we
violence
said.
a necessity
That's
for
it.
a moral
Yeah.
society or something?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the premise.
Is violence
That's the
necessary?
proposition. Is violence necessary? Let's write it out. So,
Yeah.
is violence a necessity for a moral society? How to spell necessity? Something is wrong with my necessity. Maybe with necessity.
Did you put an I in it or an E?
Well, it's not fixing it. I don't know. Necessity.
You've not got a spell check. Right click.
It's not.
Right click it.
It accepted necessity and necessity with an I with an E. It didn't care. So that's what I got. It's not fixing either one. So maybe that's how we spell necessity. Is violence a necessity for a moral society? So, I mean, I guess. Is it a necessity? No, it's not. It's not a necessity. So how would we? I mean, the question is. I mean, it's if it's possible. Here's my counter. So my answer is no, and the reason is that if it's so I believe it's always possible to create a society with no violence. Therefore, it's not a necessity.
Well, what about if, like, there are people within society that are constantly angry and easily tempered? Right now, how would you stop those type of people from being violent? Right? How? Because you say you can, you believe it's not necessary.
At the end of the day,
how would you implement your not necessary on the people that are, say, constantly angry?
So I would always negotiate. So I would, ask them to kindly leave our country. It's up to them. I mean, I would tell them, listen, I'm willing to let you go. If you come back, we'll execute you. How about that? You can go. Anyone who wants to take you can take you. You can go.
It's strong, isn't it?
I mean,
what about if you lent them your missus's bike, right, and they didn't give it you back again?
Well, that's complicated.
Is it not?
That's complicated. I'm thinking the most.
Would it be necessary then? Yeah, I don't want to go to the most extreme.
No,
right?
let's stress test.
Let's go with just the random.
No,
keep it with the normal.
No, we don't need to. If we take the most extreme and we show there's no need for violence in the most extreme, then we're done. So let's say a murderer, a psychopathic mass murderer. So listen, we don't want to have
somebody who's really angry all the time, right? Easily tempered.
Whatever. It was.
Who knows what they're capable of?
Right. So look, if it's like an ex-dictator that we're worried he's going to rally up, support, and come back in greater numbers, then yeah, we might have to execute him. If it's a dangerous,
that's within your community, is it?
I'm not thinking about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about like a country.
Well, within society, because it is violence a necessity for a moral society?
But I don't think
you're talking about society in whole here, aren't you? You've got to encompass all of the people.
Look, you can
warn. Surely you can't be taking people out of
the question
society.
is who am I? So let's say I am the ruler of a country. Let's say I'm personally the ruler of let's say I'm like a monarch.
But yeah, go on. Let's make it a monarch. Give you a crown.
Let's make me a lifetime monarch. Like I'm omnipotent within my.
Really? Because I'm not too sure. I live in the UK. I'm too sure monarchs have that sort of power.
Let's.
But I mean, who am I to know?
I just want to stress test. So I'm taking the most extreme. So let's say I am an omnipotent ruler. I can do whatever I want. I am the courts. I am the legislature. I am the executive. I'm everything. So we have. I see that
Fantasy. Can we?
we're
When we said
stress
at the beginning,
testing.
we're sticking within the
We're stress.
rules
No,
of
no,
debate,
right.
right?
But I want to stress test my theory. I want to see because I said no. Is violence a necessity? No. Let's stress test it. Let's see. Let's take the most
Okay.
extreme
By
case.
making yourself an omnipotent
I want to
being,
stress test.
the monarch of the
I just want to
society.
stress test this. Let's say I can execute the guy. So I can tell him, listen, you're excommunicated, you're banished from our land. If you
Public. Would you do it publicly?
Yeah, sure. It would be I don't see it
How would you do it?
transparently.
Would you try smacking his head off the concrete a few times, something like that? Maybe ragdolling him round like like the Hulk.
No. We would have a
About like that.
civilized.
You see that thing in the Avengers?
No. Stop.
The Hulk.
Why are you misbehaving? Why don't you have a normal discussion? Why do you keep being childish? You want to have a normal discussion, and you keep
We are. We're
you're
talking
derailing.
about
No,
assault, aren't we?
you're
Within
derailing.
society.
You keep derailing the conversation. You're degenerating the conversation. Anyway, so I would have a normal, calm discussion with him in an open court, just like they did in the old days. You just, it's in front of the whole court, and everyone can listen in. This is everyone, everyone can listen. So the case has been brought before me that this guy I feel that he is a danger to my society. It's my interest to keep my society flourishing. I feel he is hurting the community, so I can offer him a deal. Leave, you're banished. If you come back, we'll kill you. How about that?
But that would only be after the offence has been committed, right?
Not
I
necessarily.
mean, you couldn't preempt that,
Yes,
could
you can.
within
You
your
can.
society?
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah, of course you can. You can have everyone wear like an MRI crown, so everyone is always transmitting their emotional state. So you can tell that a guy is a Looney Tune, and you can tell him, listen.
So you could tell if somebody's constantly angry.
Right. We can tell, and from
Do you think you could? Would like if you could implement some technology, do you reckon you would do this?
Yes, definitely. I'm not going to play around. This is too important. Because, I mean, he could be a terrorist. He could go to a power plant and, blow it up and destroy the planet. So I don't want to take a chance. Everyone has to wear this device all the time. Everyone has to be monitored all the time,
Just for lending somebody your missus's
No,
bike.
I'm not discussing that. I'm not even
imagine
considering.
it
I'm
stolen.
talking about someone who's I feel is dangerous. I don't know about the stolen bike. I feel someone who is dangerous for society. If you steal a bike, you're caught stealing. We're just gonna make you pay double. So it's not gonna be in your interest. Or we can force you to buy the bike. You took it by force. Now you have to buy it. Here is an estimate. You have to buy it. If you cannot afford it, you have to become enslaved. And if you're not a good slave, again, we have nothing to do with you. You can leave or get executed. We don't have, we don't have jail. We're not gonna have a prison system because that's way too expensive. So it's your choice: leave or die. No games. You there?
Yeah.
What do you say? I mean,
I'd say have a look in the chat.
File 5-man battered. Is it 5-man? Wait.
Yeah, Fife. It's like
Fife?
Scotland. It's
What language is that?
Fife.
Fife? What is Fife?
Well,
Fife is a location.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
it's
five.
an area.
Okay, 5 men battered neighbor in outrageously violent assault. I don't need to read an article. Some people are dangerous and they need to be, uh, you know, banished from our community. So either they leave peacefully or we kill them, or sometimes we feel that it's too dangerous to even let them leave because they might come back in greater numbers. They might create a revolution, an insurgency, and then we need to just execute them. They it's we don't have much of a choice.
Just saying there,
So
like
I
he
guess the answer.
suspected a man of stealing a bike
I'm not. I told you already.
just
I'm
on
not discussing
suspicion.
that. I don't care about that. I'm looking at the most extreme, and we already discussed it. He took the bike. He has to either buy. He has to enter. We have to force him. We force him to negotiate with the bike owner. What do you want to do? So the bike owner can tell him, you can buy the bike. You took the bike. It's yours. The price is whatever the owner says, and now. The question is, what if the owner of the bike says 1,000 times the price of the bike? That's a problem. But I guess
Right, so he says, the accused got up and walked back to his home and shouted, "I'm going to kick your curve." Is that? I don't know.
I don't know
Curve
why.
in
Why are
every
we
time I
looking?
see you.
All right, so some people are violent. The question is who is right and who is wrong. I mean, we don't know. We never have the full picture. So I mean, if we
That's
know.
what I was asking you. Is that sort of violence a necessity when you have people who are constantly angry within society?
I mean, you could be constantly angry and not take it out on anyone. Just be angry with yourself.
But look, if all you have to do is suspect somebody stole something, even though you've lent it to them.
I don't know what you mean by that. Suspect someone that stole something even though you lent it to them? I don't understand the scenario you're
Well,
describing.
let's say you came round, right, and you said, "Can I borrow that bike?"
I can
Right, and I go like, "Yeah, okay." Right, so you come round to my house and
Okay,
you borrow a bike, right?
sure.
You ask me, "Can I borrow it?" And I say, "Yeah, of course you can." Off you go.
Okay.
And you say, "I'll bring it back."
Okay. And you
Right, and then the next time you come round and it's not there, right? You haven't brought it back.
Okay.
Is it okay then for me to suspect that you've stolen it, even though I
you have
have
to
lent it
have
to you? And then is violence necessity?
right.
Right? Is it a necessity
Right.
because you haven't brought the bike back?
So the question is,
If
but you're
I'm
saying
really angry all the time.
wait, but you're saying you're only suspecting the guy that he never brought back the bike.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't
Yeah.
know. So you need to have like a detective look into the case. You need to gather evidence and figure out what happened. So you might end up not knowing what actually happened. Maybe there is no evidence and you just have to be inconclusive. So
Epoche, right? I mean, that would be the natural thing. But
Mhm.
if within your society you have people that are constantly angry,
that doesn't mean
right? Easily tempered, right? How
that doesn't mean
you've got to admit
anything.
that there are people like that within your
But the question is,
society,
are they
right?
violent? I mean, a person can be angry and not be violent. He can be mean and nasty. Just stay away from him. Especially if everyone is wearing an MRI crown, and you can always see on your phone immediately their score, their social score. You should stay away from this guy. Don't do business with him. He's just a meanie.
But he's got to live somewhere within society, hasn't he? I mean, everybody can't do that, right? Are you going to segregate? You can't go around segregating constantly angry people, can you? Because then all you'd have to
How
do
is
is
he?
put them all like
How is
in a group together.
how
Would you
is
put them all together?
the question is, let's say he's my
What would
neighbor.
happen then?
Let's say he's my
Mhm.
neighbor. If he yells,
Yeah.
then that's illegal. You're not allowed to yell and make noise. You need to be quiet. No one should be aware of
Does
your
that?
existence. If you're bothering the
Go,
neighbors,
I'm gonna shouting. I'm gonna kick your curve in every time I see you. I think that's what the C
right,
word
that's a
is.
threat. So for that, we bring him to, we bring him to, I guess, we investigate the situation. Why is he behaving like this? And if we discover that he's misbehaving, then we might start with a fine, a financial fine for misbehaving and making threats. And if it reoccurs, then we might, move to the next step.
What about if you've already been poking people with your cane, your stick, your walking stick?
That, I mean,
Yeah,
the question
you
is,
did it.
why did you do it? So we need
Bit of road rage, bit of previous road rage, perhaps. I mean, because you're always constantly angry, right? How could you? You can't just, control anger like that, can you? That's what the question was.
the,
Is violence a necessity?
so
I'm not asking for you, right, or whether you're the
so the
governor or
answer,
whatever. In general, right?
in general, you can control people with financial incentives. So you're wearing an MRI scanner crown on your head all the time, and if we notice that in the beginning you had anger issues, but you're controlling it and you're behaving nicely, we're going to raise your score, and we're going to financially incentivize you to well behave. And if you are
What
malbehaved,
the anger and all of that? You want to,
if you
if somebody gets angry all of the time, right? But they don't actually go round and physically assault
it's not just
anybody, right?
physically,
But they're
even
constantly abusing
that's
people
bad enough.
verbally.
We
I
don't
think
want
that
that.
because we did say that.
Yeah, we don't want that. So
But
we'll give you.
but could you not promote them for that and say, well done, at least you're not actually,
No,
you're
but
not actually being physically
no,
abusive to anybody. So
if you're
you
being
have some.
if you're being a meanie, then we don't like that, and you need to stop being a
Are you
meanie.
sure? We're talking about society in general, though, right?
Yeah, but we don't want meanies. We want everyone to be calm and
But
well behaved.
you've got to admit there are people in society
Yes.
that aren't like that, right? I mean, you're looking for a utopia, right? You've got to be realistic,
Right.
within a debate scenario, right?
Right. So I mean, we just want.
So you're talking about your personal utopia, where
Right. So
you're the
I'm
omnipotent being,
right.
right? Controlling it
Right.
all
So
with future tech that doesn't actually exist.
okay, that's red herring. So um the point is we can incentivize. Usually financially is enough. So if he's being a meanie, we're gonna charge him. It's gonna cost you. You were mean to this guy, you hurt his feelings, you have to pay him for that. So every time you aggress against anyone, even not even verbally, even mentally, if you ignored
Sorry, wait a minute. Now you're going the other way, right?
what?
Just hurting somebody's feelings.
Yes.
I mean, what about if somebody's particularly snowflakeish, right? And we're talking about somebody who's
We have an MRI.
constantly angry,
We
right?
have an MRI.
What about if that person who's angry gets upset at the sight of somebody, I don't know,
We have an MRI.
having a different. What about if he thinks that somebody else has a thought
We
that
have
he doesn't like?
we have an MRI scanner on everyone, so
Proper.
you cannot fit. It's very difficult to.
No, in reality, we don't know, right?
Let's assume.
I know.
Let's assume. Let's assume for this.
We can't really assume it
No, for
because
this-
for this debate
for this-
type thing, we're trying
No, for this.
to go over things that
Right.
actually happen in
So what I'm
reality, right?
saying.
Not
So let's assume. Let's stress test it, and just assume we have all the knowledge using a perfect MRI scanner crown, and in reality, you're saying, well, these are not perfect. Fine. And so you can always gather evidence. I mean, did you make a woman cry? Did she actually have tears? That's an indication that, or did she, was she shaking?
making a woman cry.
Right.
that's your.
I'm saying if you don't want to,
Is that where would we put that on the scale of
it's evidence.
injustices?
Like everything
against
else,
snowflakes?
like everything else, it would be evidence. At the end of the day, we need evidence. I'm saying in order to not obfuscate the topic and not to red herring the topic, I'm just assuming a perfect MRI scanner that gives you a perfect reading of the emotional state of the person. So if you don't have that, then you have to go into detective work and into evidence. But that's a different topic. So I don't want to confuse the topic. Otherwise, we'll change topic. I don't want to do that. That's red herring. So let's finish this topic. So let's just assume we have perfect knowledge of the state of mind. So if you hurt someone's feeling, we have a perfect indication of that, and now you need to pay the guy or a girl whose feelings you hurt. You have to pay them because you caused them damage. Because of you, they weren't able to fully function.
Emotional damage.
Whatever. Because of you, they weren't.
What about if somebody says they don't like the
Let me
color
just
of
finish
your
the
socks?
sentence. So because of you, they didn't function well at work that minute, that hour, that day, those
Didn't
days.
like the color of my socks.
What?
Well, like, because you have to, the moment you start talking about people's emotions and hurting people's emotions and you wanting compensation, I don't think that's going to work.
Why not?
No matter how good your tech is. In fact, the tech would only make it even worse. Because the people who are easily offended would be making money from being offended.
Stay away from them. That's your problem. Don't offend people. Just stay away from people. If everyone is getting offended from you and no one else, then stay away from people. You are obnoxious. That's fine. You don't have to be with people. Stay at home, work from home, live your life.
You're putting it in the hands of the offended, aren't you?
Look, it's relative. If everyone is offended by everyone, it just raises the bar of what it means to be offended. But if you notice that a person is easily offended, then when you approach them, your iPhone warns you and says, be careful, this person is a snowflake. She are easily offended. Stay away from them. So
What about if they're offended from you staying away from them?
Excuse me?
What about if they're offended by people staying away from them, right? Because you would struggle to engage with somebody like that, wouldn't you? What if they get offended by you not engaging with them?
But if your iPhone warned you, then you have evidence that your iPhone warned you. Your app warned you to stay away. That's why you stayed away, because these are snowflakes. It's their problem. So there's a limit to what we can do. I mean, ignoring someone can be worse.
You're omnipotent, aren't you?
So what? But just to finish the thought, ignoring.
So there isn't really any limits.
Let me just finish the thought. So ignoring someone can sometimes be worse than being physically violent with them. Sometimes don't ignore me. I'd rather you use violent physical what do you call it? Body when you actually spank someone or something. Corpuscular? No. Corporal punishment. Corporal punishment. So sometimes I'd rather have corporal punishment over just being ignored. Being ignored sometimes is worse. So if you're trying to hurt someone's...
Okay, so would you get people to fine people for ignoring you if that's worse?
Yes, if you...
So like you said before, you'd have to keep away from people like that. But you're saying if somebody were to do that,
Why
you'd have
why
to get money from them also
why did you
for ignoring
why
you.
did you ignore them? I mean,
Perhaps
ignoring
because they got a
I mean,
warning on their phone that this
that's
person's a
fine.
fucking
That's
snowflake.
fine. But if you ignore the person, so you have cancel culture is the most devastating thing in the 21st century. Nothing is worse than that. Cancel culture is just ignoring someone. So you can
Sort of
just
breeds
let me
itself. I
just
know, like you've just perfectly laid out a scenario where cancel culture is the inevitable thing, but it's cancel culture to the people that are wanting the cancel culture. It sort of works backwards on itself.
what do you, I have no idea what you just said.
I know you've done that. You do that quite a lot, haven't you?
That's ad hominem.
Because you
Could you
can't see
explain
the,
what you just
because
said?
you can't see the contradictions
Oh, hey,
within
stop
the things that
referencing.
you're
Stop
saying.
referencing me and just explain what you said. I have no idea what you said. You said something so convoluted. I'm just either repeat. I'll try to figure it out. Stop referencing me. What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're
Okay.
trying to say.
Okay, right. Here's your thing. You said cancel culture is a bad thing.
Yes.
Right now, you just laid out a scenario where somebody would get a warning on their phone to not approach this super snowflake person.
Right.
Right. Then you laid out a scenario where the super snowflake person got offended at people ignoring them.
Right. They have no right if the app.
So therefore, the super snowflake can then feel like the
I
app
answered.
has made them be cancelled.
I already answered. So the answer is again, whatever the app says, that's your evidence. That's why you did it. You didn't ignore them because of malice intent. You ignored them because the app recommended ignoring them. And the app did it, it's an AI that just recommends it's better to avoid this person because he's a snowflake. Whatever you do, he's going to be offended. So just stay away from them. So that's your evidence. That's why you stayed away from them.
But then the person who got offended more than violent physical assault, like you said.
I already answered.
Because that he got ignored.
Yes.
Therefore, you said he was due compensation.
No.
For being ignored.
No, but
yes, you did.
No, but I explained. But if the app recommends to stay away from a person, that's your evidence. You didn't do it because of malice intent. You did it because the app recommended. That's okay. That's your evidence. It's recorded. Done. That's how I would run my society. Minimal
tech. Future tech.
No, not necessarily. You don't have to have future tech. You can do all of this.
MRI crowns.
You don't have to have it. As I said, that's a different topic. You're switching topic now. You don't have to have it. If you don't have it, you just gather evidence. The more evidence you have, the more perfect knowledge you have, and then you can still run society. You can run a primitive society with this philosophy. You just always need evidence, but these are the guidelines of how to run a society.
Nearly as good as Socrates, aren't they?
I never read Socrates. I have no idea what he said.
The Republic.
I never read anyone. I don't care. I don't read anything from anyone ever. Never. I don't want to contaminate my thoughts.
Your philosophy, yeah, definitely individual.
I don't know.
Do you reckon where do you reckon your societal thoughts would be?
What do you mean?
Like where would you place yourself within? Could you place yourself as the philosopher king?
Yes, I can be a philosopher king, but I would be a non-interventionist. I believe that the maximum happiness for a society is achieved just by freedom. the maximum freedom. All I need to do as a philosopher king is just make sure people are as free as possible. The maximum
Free to commit violence, right?
no, that's exactly it. A person is as free as possible as just as long as he is not terrorized with violence, any form of violence. So, like most of us, most of the time, are not terrorized by violence. We can be super productive, but unfortunately, there's very little freedom that governments award citizens these days. Most things that most people would do productively are illegal or or disincentivized one way or another. Like I would love to build skyscrapers all over my town, but that's completely hopeless.
Have you ever studied building?
I cannot dox myself.
Well, that would be one of the setbacks for you to be able to build
Okay, that's
skyscrapers.
ad hominem and red herring. So, as to your question, the original question, um, is violence a necessity for a moral society? I don't know about. I guess you could call this moral society. I mean, I'll just go with it. For a successful, for a happy, I would say for a happier, for a higher quality of life. If you want to maximize or you want to maximize quality of life, meaning you want to optimize the lives of your citizens in your society, is violence a necessity? I guess, yeah, there are cases in order to maximize happiness, optimize the lives. Yeah. So the answer is yes. So I have to change my answer to yes.
Well done.
There you go.
You did a complete 180 on your original answer. Did you not want to like try and include a middle in there
What do
somewhere
you mean middle? Middle of what?
of yes and no?
I mean, is it a necessity? Yes or no? We show that it is a necessity. In some cases, it's a necessity. Hopefully, if you use force in very few cases, it will set a precedent that people will be disincentivized from being violent. You would you
Do you reckon?
yeah.
What about if you profited from the experience,
What do you
right?
mean?
What about if the perpetrator, the criminal, the aggressor? What about if the aggressor actually profited from the experience?
What experience?
Like, would you think that would the
Oh,
assault
if they profited from the assault?
from smashing somebody's head on the concrete?
Well, I don't see how you profit from that, but let's say
So you go on YouTube and talk about it, and people give you loads of money, super chats and stuff, and the like of that.
uh, right, so you have to offset that incentive. So ultimately, you want to disincentivize whatever behavior you want to reduce, you want to decrease. You want to decrease the events of violent events in your society. So you want to disincentivize these this behavior. Now you're saying that there is a built-in incentive sewn into the fabric of your society. Fine, then you have an add-on disincentive.
You know, there's elements within society, right? There's all sorts of different elements. So, what if there were an element of society that wanted to um, incentivize this, right? To make it
Right.
to make
Yes,
it
that's built.
look good,
Yes, that's built in.
right? Rather than look
Yes,
bad.
that's built in. That is the nature of the beast. So, as the omnipotent overlord of this society, I would seek to ultimately disincentivize. The bottom line for each individual has to be that it's disincentivizing to be a bad actor.
Well, where would you disincentivize it? Like, how would you
Ultimately,
implement your?
I mean, it's financial. You never want it to be physical, but if you have to even execute the person, then that's what you do. But you start from just you start with a warning.
Wow, that's a bit extreme.
I mean, you start with a warning. You move to financial dockets, tickets.
Hmm.
You increase.
What if then? What if then they started gaining more money from this other group of
Then you
people that
charge
want to
them. You charge
incentivize
them
it?
more, so it's disincentivized. And ultimately, if they can,
Charge them more for what?
for whatever behavior they,
You take a greater percentage of the super chats, something like that.
whatever, you make sure the bottom line is negative.
But how do you do that if people keep sort of going
You
and
first, I mean,
wanting to
obviously, I mean, you can take
incentivize it the other
whatever
way?
they made, you can just charge that, so they make nothing. Plus, you give them an on top of that a financial a ticket.
Ticket,
Yeah, they have to pay.
like a game.
No, a ticket, like in real
Okay.
life. Like you violated the law, you have to pay. In our case, you would always pay the injured party.
Yeah, but then okay. So let's say you get that right ticket and you've got like a call it a fine,
Right,
right?
exactly. Fine, that's the
You have
word.
to pay that fine. Well, let's say then you go
It's
on
a reimburse. It's
YouTube
not
again, let's
a
say,
fine.
and go and tell everybody and say, "Look, everybody, I've got this fine." And then what if your super chat people just pay the fine for you and give you more,
Then you
right?
charge.
So they double the amount of
Then
money
you
that you would have had to pay for your
again you
fine. So
charge
you
whatever they made. Look, I want to disen uh disincentivize a behavior. So whatever incentives they have, I need to neutralize. Plus, I need to add a fine or a reimbursement to the injured party on top of that. So I get the bottom line has to be a negative incentive. If it's a negative incentive, people will refrain from it, assuming rationality, which I always assume.
you always assume rationality, yet you debate against the laws of
No, that's not the
reasoning.
same. The rationality means everyone who's rational, a rational actor just wants to optimize their lives. Just wants is always seeking maximum happiness. That's the definition of rationality. It's an econ.
Well, what about if an angry person gains happiness out of smashing somebody's head off the
Right.
concrete?
So we
Or it's like speaking bad to people, calling people names and shit
right.
like
So
that,
we
shouting at
can
people, saying you're
so
gonna
we
kick the
so
curve
we
in.
want to counterbalance that by using financial or even physical incentives. Anyway, listen, I gotta go. It's that time. I think this was a very
Okay.
productive discussion. I enjoyed it. Did you feel that it's a productive discussion?
I think you've given us an idea of what your particular utopia would be
Yeah.
like, and it sounds messed.
It sounds what?
It sounds messed up.
Um,
But no doubt you can work over
but
it.
you
And
only asked me questions. You never presented your utopia. So I don't have an alternative. You didn't even suggest an alternative. So to judge mine as a mess relative to what? It's relative to you don't have a countering theory. So I gave you my
yeah,
theory.
Epoche, it's absolutely fucking amazing.
Who?
Read up on it. Epoche.
Who?
Epoche.
Apple. I never heard this name.
Yeah.
So I mean, in this discussion, you could have raised.
Have you ever heard of Xanadu?
No, no. I told you I don't know anything. So um,
Yeah.
so you could have mentioned your alternative theory of how to run a society. I would be delighted to hear it, and we could compare and contrast, and maybe I'll decide that yours is better. but I'm not. You didn't offer an alternative, so it's difficult to understand.
I don't believe that the Philosopher King is a possible thing. And
You didn't offer an alternative, so I mean, and that was just. I just stress tested. I was just doing stress tests, so I became the Philosopher King just in order not to have a red herring and not to have a more messy form of government that's going to convolute the discussion. But
yeah, you did
I
very well. I bet your people. You can go and
what
have your conference, work it all over.
with my panel?
Yeah,
We usually have just closing remarks. But you didn't present. I mean, we can have another discussion tomorrow morning, or maybe no tonight. Yeah, maybe tonight. Wait a minute. Let's say 8 p.m. is yours midnight, right? You're 5 hours ahead of me, ahead of New York City.
it's 5 o'clock now.
Right. It's 12 p.m. for me. So you're 5 hours ahead of me. So my 8 p.m. is your 1 a.m. I guess, yeah. 1 a.m. Do you sleep already?
I don't know. Probably not.
All right. So I'll try to be here at 8 p.m. I'll try.
Okay.
And you can present your alternative theory of how to run a society, however you want.
Why?
Why? You don't
Yeah.
have to. I mean, you just said mine is messy, so I'm assuming relative to yours. Otherwise, I don't know how you can judge without presenting an alternative.
Well, just normal society that we're living in
Whatever
now.
you
Right?
you have,
I can compare it to
then
that, can't I? I don't have to have one of my own.
compared to the current society, you're saying mine is messy
Yeah.
compared to the current society.
Yeah.
The current society is falling apart. I mean, Western
I
civilization.
know, but you put little MRI crowns on everybody and put
Yes,
everybody an app
as I
telling
said,
everybody who
not.
they should keep
I
away
explained,
from.
not necessarily. I explained.
That's sort of progressing the society that we're in on a few fucking
You
stages
can
into
incentivize.
1984.
You
I'd
can
say probably right in
You
there,
can incentivize.
more like fucking
You
Blade
can
Runner.
incentivize your citizenry to wear these MRI headsets. You can tell them you get your social score higher the more you wear it. We just want to make sure you're not a psychopath. You're not a terrorist. So the more you wear it, the more we trust you. See, it doesn't have to be by force. Nothing should be by force. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm trying to use as much.
I mean, the only people that wouldn't wear them would have to be terrorists and people like that,
Right.
wouldn't they?
As long as we don't know what your emotions are like, we have to distrust you. We have to be worried. Worried. Why do you not want? It's not even sharing with us. It's either public information or it goes directly to an AI that you know doesn't disclose the information with anyone. No one actually knows anything about you. Only the AI, the app, the database knows, but this information is inaccessible. It's completely cryptographically undisclosable. Anyway, we can continue discussing your alternative universe and compare and contrast. Anyway, I gotta go. Thank you so much for the discussion. I think it was terrific because I never really discussed my utopia, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of years. So it's good that finally I got it recorded on YouTube. I think it's pretty good. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave now. Have a great day, Bev. Thank you everyone for listening.
It's been an experience.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was interesting.
All right.
Did you listen, J-Rock? Were you able to follow?
Yes, at the beginning, it's always the same discussion about, like, oh, we can't debate you. you don't have any good rules of debating. What is law? It's always when you're first joining a room, it's always that discussion at the beginning, and then it
Yeah,
gets into the actual topic.
yeah, yeah. But finally, we were
Yeah.
able to discuss how I believe a society can be run properly. Anyway, do you have any closing thoughts before I go kill myself?
You forgot to read comments.
There is very, very little. I mean, we read Woody Johnson, Good Morning, and We Is Live, and wait, Uncomfortable? Yeah, I think we read Uncomfortable, We Is Live. J Rock says Uncomfortable, Truth says, but that's all we got. I mean, and there's no super chance. Let me see how many users. Oh, we are up to 104 subscribers. We're growing not every day by one. Right now it's at 1%, almost I would say one per week. We're growing at 1% per week. So if we sustain a growth of 1% per week, how many? Okay, I need to be quiet. Um, that's an interesting mathematical question. At 1% growth per week after a year, let's say, what is the number we should expect? I leave it up to the audience as an exercise. Anyway, thank you, J Rock, for joining.
Yeah, it was different experience. I did my workout in on cam this morning.
Really, that's terrific. Hopefully I'll try and stream tonight at 8 p.m. I'm aiming for that on days that my nights are kind of free. Because I didn't sleep well, so I'm gonna be really tired, and I'm gonna use it to wake up. 1 second, we have a message from RT, the band. I'd research YouTube growth techniques. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to get I mean, if anyone wants to debate me on any YouTube channel, if you guys can get me invited on anyone's YouTube channel to debate them, I don't care how big they are.
What
As
about
lo-
you ever heard of modern day debate?
of course. Yeah, if you can invite me on to modern day debates, sure. I don't know how it works with them. Yeah, get me invited.
Okay,
I'll
would you go on there if they tell you like, okay, we'll debate you on anything, but you have to cam up? Would you do it?
mm, I mean, I can usually they don't ask for camming up. It's a headache to cam up, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's just an inconvenience. Anyway, that shouldn't be an issue. But if you guys can get me on any show, any as a
Yeah,
guest, I think that's the best exposure I can hope for to get
yeah,
uh to get my message across to the universe and maybe
yeah.
delay
I'll definitely
the
tell people about you. Even people like even my own personal friends and families. I'll show them your website, your debate topics, and who knows, maybe I'll get somebody that I know to come on and just talk to you directly or someone else's platform. Yeah, I'll try.
that'd be terrific. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna go kill myself. J Rock, take it away.
Wait, hold on. I always keep forgetting what I want to say. You should on your channel on the about me. I don't think I have posted a link to your website.
About me where? In my YouTube about me? Which about me?
Your channel,
About me?
where it says about me. Yeah,
Let me see. My channel about me. Let me see. Your
it
channel.
only has your Discord server and your Instagram.
Your channel about. Oh, that. Let me. Yeah, that's a good point. So, oh, you're saying we should have the website too?
Yeah, that way I
Yeah,
can.
that's a good
That way I
point.
make it direct people to your website.
That's a good point. There's no link, right? So we need to do that. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. All right, J Rock. You want to close the stream?
All right, sure. All right, folks, that's gonna do it for you today. If you enjoyed the Mr. Slave show today, make sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, and tune in next time to see what Mr. Slave will talk to you about. Until next time, how do you say? Can you close it out with the bad dad voice? The goodbye.
Wait, we have one more message. 1 second. A growth technique is putting bigger users in hashtags on your video title. But why would I? Which ones? Like which? I don't know who. Who would I like in like? Like not even hashtag. You can use the at. I would playing with fire, Destiny, but they have nothing to do with this. Even if the video isn't necessarily about them, I would consider that spamming. I don't want to spam. I don't want to spam. So if it has to do with them, fine. If it doesn't, then no. Anyway, Destiny is supposed to be a really good debater. I was listening to him the other day discussing uh, something about socialism, the right to fix computers and stuff. He's a complete dummy dum dum. So, I mean, I was expecting a little bit more, I guess. He's like a socialist. He's a leftist. Very unimpressive. Not that I'm not judging. I'm just saying. Anyway, all right, J Rock. Say goodbye to
Can,
everyone.
can you do the goodbye in your dad voice?
It's a little difficult. It's a little difficult because I'm gonna get killed. I have a killer in my house that's trying to kill me.
What if you
I'll
put the
try.
mic really close to you? What if you put the mic really close to your mouth?
I'm hiding the mic in my mouth. All right, so I'll do it. It's so difficult, man. You're asking for too much. Maybe next time. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go kill myself. Thank you, J Rock, for joining. Everyone, have a great day. Maybe see you tonight. Probably tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.